As everyone probably knows, Brazil has long been the center of the global sustainability conversation, from protecting biodiversity to driving innovation in climate solutions. But what is especially exciting right now is how Brazilian businesses are coming together to lead this next chapter of the green economy, especially with COP coming. So with that, I would love to talk about the new coalition that the three of you have been working on together across industries to essentially do that, drive climate action from the corporate side. So to start us off, what brought you all together and how did you start this coalition and what was the goal?
Maybe I can jump in.
Yeah, great.
So the idea of the case, the House of Solutions, in fact, was born in New York Climate Week of 2024. It was a couple of Brazilian industries trying to create a movement that shows the potentiality of the private sector of Brazil. Then we met again in Baku, where this dream, let's say, was getting with a better shape. And during the beginning of this year, we started working hard, very well aligned with Ambassador André Correa do Lago, that he was talking about the multirão. No, that's now well known outside Brazil. So the main idea is to have Brazilian companies, Brazilian-based companies, focusing on solutions to show the world that we have practical solutions in climate transition plans, in biodiversity, in energy process. All of these solutions are aligned with the global stocktake of UNFCCC. And we are trying to show that all these solutions are scalable. Besides that, the agenda will go up to 2026, trying to bring other examples to spread worldwide.
Amazing. Anything you'd like to add?
I think that, thanks. I think that as Nestlé made all of sense to be part of the coalition because since the COP is going to be held here in Brazil, and being Brazil one of the main food producers, for us as Nestlé, as a big company in food production, it made all sense to be part of the coalition in trying to show and share with everybody how we have been progressing in advancing food systems, regenerative food systems at scale, with the proven solutions, yeah? So it's a perfect match to be with such great companies that have been involved in sustainability journey in a very consistent way. And so that's it. Basically, it was a perfect match, not only for the COP and the theme on food sustainable systems, but also for the great company of these companies.
Yes. Amazing. And I do, that's something I think we hear quite a lot working in climate is really the power that can be, how we can move that goal together. It helps a lot to try and figure out how to do that together. Sarah, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think it's just, just a little bit more. It's also a pleasure to show and present something a program that is already in action and it's scalable. So I think it really shows beyond commitments and goals, but something that's already working.
So back to you, Angela. You obviously, Natura, as we all know, has been one of the first pioneers in sustainability, and you have really been driving the change. How has your evolving strategy to keep leading in that market become more crowded? Is it helpful that there are more people that are involved in the market now? What are your thoughts on?
I think definitely there's much more people involved in this sustainability agenda, and this is good, and we think it's good. And considering our vision, we have just reviewed our strategy from doing less harm with sustainability. And in fact, nowadays we are saying that we want to be a regenerative business up to 2050. And for that we use the integrated profit and loss. That is a tool that helps us to measure the four capitals, the financial capital, natural capital, human capital, and social capital. So currently we have for $1 of net revenue In Natura, we promote $2.5 positive impact for people, planet, and the society. So with that, we are still working hard in the Amazon rainforest. That's our main focus, to invest in innovation, trying to evolve this agenda and continuously improving natural capital.
Amazing. So Sarah, over to you. Obviously, you also work for a very iconic Brazilian brand with a massive global reach with Havaianas that everybody loves. Rocking them right now, love it. How are you embedding sustainability into your product design and materials sourcing while you're also maintaining your brand identity at scale?
Yeah, it's our sustainability strategy comes from, and it's embedded in our business strategy. It comes from our materiality matrix, so it's really, it comes from our risk identification and also opportunities. We have 3 pillars: responsible operations, D&I, and local development, and one for circular economy. And this is one that not in focusing on this one because we see the whole value chain focusing on the aspects related to waste generation and raw material solution, which comes, it has to be in line with what we believe and what we can develop as a company and what our brand that everybody knows means as well. So the challenge is that we expect to expand the rubber circular chain, not only in one point from gathering the used Havaianas, but also investing in the other side, so that it creates value to this raw material again. So processing, transforming, and making it into another product and making it financial feasible.
So, Barbara, over to you. You did mention, obviously, at Nestlé, you are very focused on agriculture and regenerative agriculture specifically. Can you talk about kind of what your main priorities are, how you were getting there, maybe some examples of some of the work that you've been doing in that space,
Yes.
and especially around the supply chain as well?
Yes. So being a big food producer means that we depend on the field, on the soil. That's why we do know that we need to transform the way we are producing our ingredients. So nowadays, 70% of our emissions are coming directly from the way we produce our ingredients, yeah? So, but the thing is that we're not ingredients producers. We buy those ingredients. So we need to work together with farmers for them to evolve the way they do farming. And that is quite a big challenge. So thinking on the big scale we have, today Brazil, and Nestlé Brasil as a market, but Nestlé Brasil as a market is the 3rd market for Nestlé Group, and sources more than 1/4 of the ingredients for the group. So we really need to take advantage of the strength and the potential that Brazil has in order to evolve the way we produce the ingredients. So today, we do that through our sustainability programs that have been established for more than 30 years now. Specifically, I would say the oldest one is the dairy chain one that impacts more than 1,000 farmers. And when we think on the full agricultural pool that we have, just here in Brazil, we are impacting more than 15,000 farmers with our programs. So structured sustainability programs that aim to educate farmers in a way that they are engaged and they want to migrate into these new nature-based solutions that at the end of the game practices into regenerative agriculture. That is a tricky one. So what we have done, for example, in dairy, and this is very encouraging. So we have been, as I said, more than 30 years investing in this chain, this value chain, and it is very important for us because out of the 70% of the carbon emissions that we have out of the ingredients, milk represents 50%. So we really need to crack it in dairy. So we already have evidence that out of the implementations of the practices that we have put together with the farmers, we are seeing a very huge impact on productivity, and this means that people or the farmers that have been implementing the solutions that we have recommended to them, they have seen a jump of 78% of productivity, which means that they are gaining more money as well. So their profitability is jumping as well in 15%. And the most important part is that we are being able to reduce the carbon emissions in around 19%. So that is a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the farmer, it's a win for us as a population, as a planet, and for us as well, we have a better productivity out of the dairy farms. So that is the beauty of the regenerative agriculture.
And that's what practices. I think, we always try to say, if you can show the profitability side and this is actually better for your business, it always helps make the case a lot stronger.
Yes, and we always hear from the producers. We said we go with our teams in the field, aiming to support them with technical solutions and training and so on. And they said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, there's no green if we are in red. And I think that is a very powerful phrase, yes, because we really need to put the farmer on the center. Otherwise, this agenda doesn't go
Absolutely.
on.
So back to the coalition, and Angela, maybe if you want, but everyone is welcome to jump in. What are you really hoping to accomplish, and what are the goals now that this has been established, and maybe just share a bit more about the
I'd say that the main
initiative.
goals of the companies is to have a set of cases that we can inspire others, and they are practical cases, as we've already said here, and they are scalable. So it's not just to prove that it's possible to do, but also to attract investments in order to scale up these cases. So, for example, I can give one example from Natura that we have the agroforest system for the palm oil. Then the palm was responsible for the devastation of most part of the forest worldwide. So by showing this case, we are trying to attract investors to go from 650 hectares to 12,000 hectares of implementation in Brazil. But also we can inspire other companies from Asia to do this kind of process in which you can restore, regenerate the forest. So this is a very practical one that we can attract investors, influence others, and bring new solutions to the table. No? And besides that, as we know that we have a mandate in 2026 with the COP leadership, this group will continue work in 2026, trying to pull together other cases from different sectors. So this is good. We have transportation with Marco Polo, food services, we have the beauty and the, forgot the...
Apparel.
Apparel, yeah. That's true, apparel. And so we have very different sectors that can complement itself. We have Vale with the mining system that is also important for the energy transition that everybody needs. No? So this is the idea, is to really recognize that if the private sector works together, we are going to have more power.
Anything you'd like to add? Either one?
Maybe just to add on the program that we've developed, Havaianas Reciclo, under our circular economy. I think one of the things that we've learned since 2020 when we started doing the program, and the challenge is still to ensure that the health of the Havaianas rubber recycling chain, which did not exist before, and not only investing in the gathering, the infrastructure to collect used. So it goes a lot with consumer education as well on, what to do with that, but ensuring that in the other side there's additional, because we collect a lot as well, not only on our monobrand stores, but also through the logistics cooperatives and the waste pickers we've seen since 2020, an additional revenue because this material did not have financial value, and it increased their revenue as well through the cooperatives. And also when we worked to make that feasible with our partners, processing and transforming, you can now have from used Havaianas, you have furniture, you have accessories. So this has been proven that it works, and we want now to scale. Beyond, of course, so many other opportunities in our own operations in terms of decarbonization. But on the circular economy, I think it's one of the key ones that we manage to include the consumer and our partners on the other part of.
So obviously COP is right around the corner, which is why all of us are gathered here. I would love to hear from each of you, if possible, just a little bit about what would you want to make sure that the government leaders and everybody that is gathering in Belém at the end of this week know about what the corporate sector really would like to see and really needs to move forward with these amazing initiatives that you're all working on. You want to go first?
I think that we would all agree that we want to, I think that we are together to collaborate and to show the potential that Brazil has in being a green powerhouse and have the power to show that we have concrete, proven solutions that can be scalable and can inspire, funding options and funding sources in order to accelerate the transition we have. I think that in our case, that would be perfect to understand, first of all, to put Brazil where it should be, and secondly, to take advantage of the coalition that we have formed in order to guarantee that we have more visibility and we reach more people and more entities to guarantee that we get access, not we, but the farmers get access to the funds that we really need to accelerate the transformation we all need.
Now, from our side, I think having COP30 at Belém, it's a huge opportunity for us to integrate the agendas of biodiversity, nature, climate change, and inequalities in this country. So I think we have this potentiality of showing that it's possible to have all the subjects integrated, and one solution can multiply the effects in others. So for example, when you add a lot of efforts in biodiversity on Amazon rainforest, we've already seen at Natura that you can have and promote a better life for the smallholders that are in the communities. So for us, this is super important.
Yeah, I think, and just to reinforce that, I think, the fact that we are having COP30 and for the first time in Brazil, it's a huge opportunity not only to show how ambitious targets and commitments we have, but what we are already doing on the ground. So I hope this inspires to take actionable initiatives on that one. And from Alpargatas, we hope to inspire the world to walk a lighter path. And to me, this means a lot when we talk about as well our development as a sustainable development. And this COP, I have huge expectations, so I hope this will inspire as well our leaders.
Amazing. Well, Sarah, Ângela, Barbara, thank you so much for joining us. We were so nice to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.